at that.
Stop it.
It's insane.
Stop it.
What?
Stop it. I know what you're trying to do.
Do it.
No.
Why?
Nope.
Why?
Because I won't give it to him.
Not long ago, Parker Schnabel's ex-wife revealed how she truly felt about him, and it wasn't good.
Hungry?
Starving. Me eating lunch has never been anything special, and now all of a sudden Ashley's here and me eating lunch with her is, you know, some big event.
While some people thought they had a strong connection because they worked together in mining, the truth was that she hated him. She grew tired of how Parker was always focused on mining, and it caused a lot of problems in their relationship. Let us find out why her hate for Parker became stronger than any gold they could ever find. Gold and lost bonds beyond the surface. Parker Schnabel's ex-wife didn't hold back when it came to expressing her true feelings about him. She despised him, and her hatred became a defining part of her life after their split. Far from the quiet whispers of a blossoming romance or a deep connection between two miners, the reality was much darker. She made it clear to those close to her that life with Parker was far from the romanticized version many fans might imagine. The gold mining life that fascinated so many viewers wasn't enough to distract her from the deep resentment she carried toward him. For those who follow Gold Rush, Parker Schnabel is known for his relentless drive in the tough world of mining. But off-screen, his personal life was far more complicated. His ex-wife didn't just walk away from their marriage. She left with bitterness in her heart.
The big thing was to get Parker and Ashley to kiss on camera.
There was actually what was known as the Big Kiss competition going on.
The tension between them was palpable long before their separation, and her growing hatred for him became impossible to hide. As Parker worked tirelessly in the Klondike, trying to strike it rich, she was dealing with the emotional toll of a broken marriage that was filled with frustration and unmet expectations. Their marriage wasn't a partnership built on mutual respect or shared dreams. Instead, it was a relationship that slowly deteriorated, with her anger simmering beneath the surface. She hated the lifestyle Parker embraced, the endless pursuit of gold, the long hours, the dangerous conditions. But more than that, she hated how his obsession with mining always came first, leaving her feeling neglected and sidelined. Her resentment grew stronger with each passing day, and soon it overshadowed everything else. While Parker might have been focused on his work, pushing boundaries in the Yukon, his ex-wife was left grappling with her emotions. She had once believed in their partnership, hoping that their bond could survive the challenges they faced. But as the months went by, it became clear that her hatred for him was consuming her. She didn't just dislike the man she had married, she despised him for the way he lived his life, for the choices he made, and for how little he seemed to care about anything outside of mining.
Because they've got such a small team. Parker came and asked me to see if I can help out and drive a truck.
As Parker's career flourished and he gained recognition on Gold Rush, his ex-wife's bitterness only deepened. She couldn't stand to see him succeed while she felt left behind. In her mind, every ounce of gold Parker dug from the earth was a reminder of the emotional toll their relationship had taken on her. She hated how easily he moved on, seemingly unaffected by their failed marriage. Her feelings of hatred were no secret to those who knew her. Friends and family had watched as her frustration turned into open contempt for the man she had once loved. To her, Parker was a symbol of everything that had gone wrong in her life, a constant reminder of broken promises and unfulfilled dreams. Every interview, every episode of Gold Rush, every mention of Parker's name only fueled her resentment. Though Parker may have tried to keep his personal life out of the spotlight, his ex-wife's hatred for him was something he couldn't escape. It was a shadow that loomed over his success, a reminder that not everything in his life was golden. While Parker may continue to dig for treasure in the harsh lands of the Klondike, his ex-wife remains haunted by the man she once married, and the bitterness she feels will never fully disappear. Their next big adventure was about to start. The broken tragedy of the Klondike. There was still much talk about Parker and his ex-wife, especially when rumors about their past relationship surfaced online. It wasn't the typical love gone wrong story. Instead, she harbored deep resentment for him, and the world knew it. Their relationship had been strained for a long time, and it was clear that whatever feelings she once had for him had turned into a deep-seated hatred. Parker's ex-wife, Ashley Ewell, didn't shy away from expressing her disdain. Despite initially supporting his mining career, she soon grew to despise the lifestyle and, more specifically, Parker's relentless obsession with success. Their lives had become consumed by the gold mining world, leaving little room for anything else. To Ashley, it felt like Parker cared more about the gold buried beneath the earth than about her. As their relationship deteriorated, Ashley began to openly criticize Parker, not just in private but even in front of crew members. She resented the long hours, the never-ending work, and the isolation of life on the mining grounds. What started as frustration quickly grew into bitterness, and soon enough, she couldn't stand to be around him. Despite their attempts to keep things civil, the cracks in their relationship were too deep. Even the crew could sense the tension between them.
It's a lot, and it's a lot for me to process. This is only the start of the battle for me.
Ashley's hatred for Parker wasn't just emotional, it was visible in the way she distanced herself from him, barely interacting during their final days together. She was done with the gold mining world and with Parker. Ashley's departure from Parker's life didn't come as a surprise to those who knew them. She made it clear that she couldn't bear to continue living in his shadow, watching him prioritize everything except their relationship. In interviews afterward, she rarely spoke of him, but when she did, her words were sharp, filled with the lingering resentment that had built over the years. While Parker moved forward in his career, continuing to expand his mining empire, Ashley found peace away from it all. But even after their split, the animosity she felt toward him lingered. For her, Parker had come to symbolize everything she hated: selfishness, obsession, and a life that revolved around cold, hard gold, rather than warmth and connection. Their story wasn't one of love lost, but of resentment found. Parker's ex-wife didn't just leave him, she left behind a life she had come to hate, filled with memories of a man who, in her eyes, had chosen fortune over her. And she never looked back. Now deeper into their journey, Tyler and her partner were ready for more. A tale of failure. The long, grueling days in the mines were tough, but for Parker's ex-wife, Ashley Ewell, the real hardship wasn't the physical labor, it was dealing with Parker himself. What had once been excitement over their shared ambitions in the gold mining world turned into something much darker. Ashley grew to hate Parker, and the weight of that hatred defined their relationship as much as the gold they sought. From the outside, people might have seen them as partners, working toward a common goal in the wilds of the Klondike. But behind the scenes, Ashley's resentment grew. She couldn't stand the way Parker seemed obsessed with mining, ignoring everything else in his life, including her. Every decision Parker made revolved around gold, and Ashley felt like she was just another tool in his endless pursuit of wealth. As they continued their journey through the harsh Yukon conditions, Ashley's hatred for Parker intensified. The long hours, isolation, and constant pressure to find gold wore her down. But what truly broke her was Parker's single-minded focus. It felt to her like there was no space for anything else. No room for love, support, or even basic companionship. Everything was about Parker's ambition, and Ashley despised how he let it consume him. Even though they worked side by side in the mines, their partnership had crumbled long before. Ashley couldn't stand how Parker never saw her as an equal, someone with her own dreams and desires. Instead, he saw her as an accessory to his goals, someone who could help him dig deeper, find more gold, and boost his success. This dynamic ate away at Ashley, turning her frustration into deep resentment.
It'd be really nice for that to just be, something between her and I that's not on national TV.
While fans of the show might have speculated about their relationship, wondering if they were closer than just business partners, the truth was far uglier. Ashley had grown to hate Parker, and no amount of gold or success could fix what was broken between them. Her feelings of anger and betrayal overshadowed anything they might have built together. In moments of reflection, Ashley often thought about how different things could have been if Parker had just cared a little less about the gold and a little more about her. But he didn't. He never changed. And as their time together dragged on, Ashley became more and more certain that she had to leave. Staying with Parker meant losing herself entirely, and she hated what he had turned their relationship into. The crew, too, noticed the tension between them. While Parker tried to maintain his professional facade, Ashley's contempt was clear to everyone around them. She made no effort to hide her disgust, and every interaction between them seemed laced with bitterness. Parker might have been focused on the next big find, but Ashley had checked out long ago, both emotionally and mentally. Her hatred had reached a boiling point. Eventually, the inevitable happened. Ashley left, walking away from Parker and the mining world that had come to symbolize everything she despised. The cameras might have captured the success of Parker's mining operations, but behind those scenes was a woman who couldn't stand to be around him any longer. Ashley's departure wasn't just a breakup, it was a liberation from a life she hated. In interviews after their split, Ashley rarely spoke about Parker, but when she did, it was clear there was no love lost. Her hatred for him had been the driving force behind her decision to leave, and she never looked back. While Parker continued to build his gold empire, Ashley found peace far away from the mining fields, far away from the man who had come to represent everything she loathed. Their story wasn't one of triumph over adversity. It was a story of growing hatred, of a relationship consumed by ambition, and of a woman who finally walked away from a life she could no longer bear. Next up was the Australian outback, where every challenge tells a story. Adventures in the Yukon and Australia. From the outside, some might have expected Parker and his ex-wife's relationship to be something romantic. But behind closed doors, things were far from ideal. She harbored a deep resentment toward Parker, one that grew with every passing day. What started as a partnership built on shared ambitions and dreams in the gold mining world slowly turned into something toxic, fueled by her hatred. It all began with a professional connection, as she reached out to Parker's father for advice on navigating the tough world of gold mining in the Australian outback. But it wasn't Parker's father who responded. It was Parker himself. And from the moment they began working together, the cracks started to show. She quickly realized that Parker wasn't the partner she had hoped for. His inexperience, stubbornness, and constant need for approval grated on her nerves. What others might have seen as charming or ambitious, she saw as annoying and immature. Parker's flaws were apparent early on, but she gave him the benefit of the doubt. His father had recommended him, after all. She reluctantly allowed him to join her crew in Australia, but as they ventured further into their mining work, her disdain for him deepened. It wasn't just his lack of skills that frustrated her. It was his inability to truly understand the land or the work they were doing. Every conversation with him felt like a burden, every task a struggle to get through without snapping at him. She had been in the mining world for years, building her expertise and gaining respect from those around her. But Parker, he was nothing more than a burden, a liability she had to carry. When they traveled to the Yukon, things only worsened. Parker's arrogance made him difficult to work with, and his constant need to prove himself wore her patience thin.
This could be it. This could be it.
He fought the kiss to the very last day.
Despite the outward appearances, she despised every moment she had to spend with him. The admiration that others might have seen in their partnership was a facade, one that hid the true nature of their relationship. She resented how much of her time and energy was wasted on him, and how much of her success was overshadowed by his presence. Every decision he made seemed like a mistake to her, and every time he tried to take the lead, she only grew angrier. Their journey in the Australian outback was supposed to be an exciting adventure, but for her it was nothing but an ordeal. Parker's lack of experience made every challenge they faced more dangerous. She was the one who had to guide him, to ensure they both survived the harsh conditions, all while seething with frustration. She hated how dependent he was on her, and how he never seemed to appreciate the depth of her knowledge. The idea that people might think they were romantically involved only added to her bitterness. She couldn't stand the thought of anyone assuming there was something more between them than a failed partnership. In her eyes, Parker wasn't just a poor mining partner. He was someone who had wasted her time and energy, someone she deeply regretted ever trusting. By the end of their time together, her hatred for Parker had consumed her. Their relationship was irreparably damaged, not by external challenges, but but by the growing resentment she felt every day they worked together. The hardest test wasn't the rough terrain or the unpredictable dangers of the outback. It was the strain of tolerating Parker's presence. For her, it was a relief to finally cut ties with him and move on with her life, leaving him and their failed partnership behind. In the vast outback, Parker and his partner found that their greatest treasure was their growing friendship. Enemies in the outback. Now here's where the story takes a darker turn. Parker and his ex-wife weren't just out in the outback searching for gold. They were headed towards something far more volatile, a partnership fraught with resentment. From the beginning, she harbored a deep hatred for Parker, a feeling that would only grow stronger as they navigated their expedition. Her contempt for him wasn't just a passing annoyance. It was a festering anger that colored every aspect of their journey. Their partnership wasn't based on trust or support. She tolerated Parker out of necessity, not choice. His impulsive, high-energy behavior grated on her nerves, and what others saw as his ambition, she viewed as arrogance. Every obstacle they faced wasn't something that brought them closer. Instead, it became another reason for her hatred to deepen. She resented having to constantly correct his mistakes and pull him out of situations his inexperience had created. Every time he relied on her for guidance, her bitterness grew. For Parker, the journey may have been about building a connection, but for her, it was a test of patience, one she was losing with every passing day. She had entered the outback with a clear focus on the work, but Parker's presence turned what should have been a professional endeavor into a personal nightmare. His incompetence put them at risk more than once, and each misstep became another reason for her disdain. As they continued their adventure, the harshness of the outback wasn't the real challenge for her. It was Parker. She hated that she had to rely on him at all. His lack of understanding and his reckless decisions put them in danger time and time again.
Doesn't give me any slack being his girlfriend. When we're working, he just treats me like another crew member. I like it that way. We've got to do.
It was her expertise and experience that kept them alive. But every time she saved the day, her resentment only grew. She resented his dependency, the way he looked to her for answers when he should have known them himself. The rugged terrain and the dangers of the outback became a symbol of their dysfunctional partnership. What others might have seen as camaraderie, she saw as an unbearable burden. The more Parker leaned on her, the more suffocated she felt by his presence. It was clear to her that they were never meant to work together, and she loathed the fact that they had to. Every challenge they faced wasn't an opportunity to grow closer. It was another test of how much longer she could endure his company. Here's where the real drama unfolded. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, Parker made a critical mistake that pushed her hatred to its breaking point. Instead of seeing his blunder as a learning opportunity, she saw it as the final straw. Any hope of salvaging their partnership was gone. She couldn't stand being around him any longer, and every minute spent in his presence felt like a punishment. By the time their journey came to a close, her hatred for Parker had solidified into something unbreakable. The very sight of him stirred her anger, and the thought of ever working with him again was unbearable. What had started as a professional arrangement had turned into a personal vendetta. She despised everything about him, his arrogance, his recklessness, his inability to understand the seriousness of the work they were doing. The outback wasn't just a backdrop to their journey, it was a reflection of the wasteland their partnership had become. While Parker may have thought they were growing stronger as a team, she knew the truth. Her hatred had consumed any chance of them ever forming a lasting bond. For her, this wasn't a journey about finding gold or forging friendships. It was about surviving the nightmare of having Parker by her side. Do you think enduring friendships can truly be formed under extreme conditions? Comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more discussions.